Hello, everyone. I first of all want to thank all of you for the support and the love that you provided EA during the last 30 years. Time has flown. Yes, indeed. EA is now 30 years old. We were wondering how we could give back. And then a thought occurred. Why not get leaders that we have placed during the last 30 years to share their experiences? Tell us what really made them successful. Try to unravel their mind as to why they chose to do what they did. And hopefully, there would be great learning for each one of us. This is a series that we call Game Changers of India. We have picked placements that we have done who have made a difference. Difference not only in financial numbers, but in the impact that they created in their respected companies. The fortunes of the companies that they really changed, as well as shaped careers of people who had the privilege and the pleasure to work with them. We will try to peep into their mind, and hopefully, all of us will have a great learning, and maybe this will inspire a lot of you to replicate their success. Hello, everyone. It gives me great pleasure in welcoming you to the next episode of Game Changers of India. It's an honor and a privilege, as well as a matter of great pride, for me to welcome an individual that we placed long back, who has made a difference and from whom I think we have much to learn. Friends, chatting with me is none other than Pramod Arora, CEO of PVR INOX, looks after growth and investments, and he spent over 25 years shaping PVR to what it is today. I'll request Pramod to share some of the secrets, the secret sauce that I'm sure will help each one of us as and an individual as he is, I'm sure he'll be very forthcoming. Welcome to the show, Pramod. It's really an honor to meet you and see the work that you've done. It's a miracle. Friends, when Pramod joined PVR, it was four screens. Today, it is over 1,700 screens in 113 cities spread over India and Sri Lanka. So, if we have to learn something about growth, I think there can be none better than Pramod to have seen it from a little small company to what it is today, a leading player in the entertainment industry. Pramod,
Thank you so much, Pranesh. As much I'm excited, I'm humbled. And, it's been a great 25, 30 years. Thank you to Executive Access to have given me the opportunity or a catalyzing factor to where I am today. It is Executive Access has played a huge role out there. And perhaps, the thanks is in place for me to suggest that wouldn't have been possible had it not been for Executive Access to have connected with me with PVR at that point of time. So thank you very much for that. And as you mentioned, it has been a great journey. Uh, it's I have always been very passionate about the work that I do. I would only work in a place which I love. I would only work for things which I love doing. That really makes me, not really work every day. It's just a normal course of things that I love doing what I'm doing. So it's just not. It's like loving it every day. When I get into my office, I just love it. It's for me like the second place. My home is the first place, second place is my office. And that distinction has actually gone away virtually. Whether I'm sitting in my office, whether I'm sitting in my home, things have just basically diminished out there. So it's a great feeling to be working in a place which you love, to do something that you love. And that's what I'm all about. Perhaps you spoke about growth, and that was my mindset right from the early days. Post my engineering or my management, I had multiple opportunities to move outside the country, and many of my family members did that. And perhaps there was a bit of a skew that why don't I really look at those greener pastures. The more I looked at it, the more the grass looked greener to me within my country. And what I realized early in life was that this country is about billions of people. Which other place can you do things which can scale up than India? So, multiplexes just came in at the right time in my life. And at that point of time, also, the whole thing was that this is a concept which perhaps can reach to millions and millions of people across this country. And, you know, with that mindset, and with a mindset that let me taking a decision is, uh, critical, and making it right is essential. So that was the mindset that let me go ahead, take my decisions. It's critical to take a decision. Sitting on one side of a river and thinking that I will drown would never make me reach on the other side. So I was happy to basically get in, dive in, then try to perhaps swim and reach across on the other side. So the decision was to take the jump. So I always ended up taking those deep dives and then finding my way, just clearing the forest to make my path. And that has been the life which I still, which I still love. Many a times I do end up getting asked this question, the pursuit of happiness. To be honest, I'm searching for it. The day I search it, perhaps, or the day I basically, my search is completed, would perhaps be my last day. I don't think that word called happiness, which is the ideal word, that I'm in pursuit of happiness and I've found my happiness forever, exists. Because the day you find it should be virtually the last. So that pursuit of happiness still continues. And with that growth mindset, I'm just taking it forward even today. So, you have honestly taken me back 30 years. I'm as a human being, I haven't changed much. Perhaps, my hair have gone gray. I have my memory bouts wherein I end up losing some of my memory here and there. But other than that, my growth mindset remains what it used to be like 25 years back or 30 years back. The other thing, which I have been able to relate to is during the early formative years of my life. One of my earlier supervisor had suggested to me at one point of time that, unless you learn every day, every now and then, life would stop for you. And that has actually got retained into my head, that it's like it's like a daily learning habit which is there, daily reading habit which is there. I got to imbibe that, go on doing it day in and day out. Sometimes you realize that it is very, very boring to do it every day and doing it as a ritual. But I do it as a ritual. It's a process that I got to learn something every day, and I got to record it. I learned this, and then go over it over a period of time. Now, what that really does is it changes your perspective to life. I still remember the early days when I was like 25, 26, taking a lot of decisions to making these multiplexes that you see. And they did magic with the people because those people were my age. The consumer that I was servicing was somewhere represented on that base of 1, 2, 3, 4, which we call 12 to 34, which is the prime consumer base, at least at that point of time. Now, what I now realize is that if I don't learn from youngsters, I am like beyond 50. My consumer is 25. How can I basically make a product which is in line with what he loves and what he likes? So I got to learn and imbibe from the youngsters and then bring that into the product. Now it's I don't know whether I'm able to articulate it right or not, but that is what learning has given me. So now today when you look at it, I learn every day from so many youngsters who are working within my system. Also, I've asked them that go ahead, take decisions, because my job is to support that decision, because I would basically insulate you from the failures and let me suggests that you will, if you are successful, you get the claps on the other side.
Let me promote. I mean, I think most companies are chasing growth. Most individuals are chasing growth. So, is the hunger to learn, is it a prerequisite to grow? Or would you say there's a certain other qualities also that need to be imbibed?
So, you know, there are a couple of factors, and it may sound very theoretical, but they are truly if you imbibe them. So, one of the factors is, again, I learned it in one of the discourses, and I don't remember which discourse it was. So, servant leadership they talk about. Perhaps it was a Gita
Yeah.
classes that I learned. That servant leadership. Now, servant leadership is typically that as a leader, your job is to basically serve instead of saying that I am the decision maker, the power lies with me, let the power go. If you let the power go, then it makes you a leader. Otherwise, you'll not be a leader. Unless you are a leader, you cannot have a growth mindset. So there are these are relationships which have a direct proportionality or an inverse proportionality relationship, as we call it in engineering. Now, similarly, ego has a inverse proportional relationship to growth mindset. If you have a growth mindset and if you have an ego, my personal take is, it's something which I personally hold. I don't think people with an ego can have a growth mindset. It is an inverted growth mindset, and it will only take the company and the person down. It cannot take him up. Unfortunately, many of the people end up not achieving the growth personally as well as professionally because of ego. So, and then resilience. So many of these factors are interconnected. And my belief is that, this is a concoction which has to set right for growth to happen. It cannot be only one factor, multiple factors out there. So, I did suggest about resilience. I did suggest about, not having an ego. I did suggest about servant leadership. So, these are the three factors which come to my mind, and perhaps there would be a few more, which will basically make the growth mindset really come true. Else, it's a fallacy to believe that I have a growth mindset and I will grow, and my company or my organization or my country would also grow. Growth mindset is not about, growing only personally and professionally. The growth mindset pertains around seeing things in and around you and achieving an overall growth. If I am working in a team, it is so very important to understand it's not about being a man of the match of a losing team. It's about a winning team. The man of the match could be somebody other than me, but I must be in a team which is winning.
Winning.
So that sort of a mindset is a growth mindset. So many a times, many a people are chasing what you call as a man of the match,
Yeah.
and they are a part of the losing team. So that is thumbs down. Those are not
So
growth
true.
leaders.
So true, Pramod. But tell me one thing. You very correctly spoke about ego. I mean, and how it is detrimental, I mean, to success. But the other flip side, the more successful you are, the more your head gets swollen. What do you think needs to be done by leaders of a growing company to keep ego at bay?
Yeah. So there are multiple factors which I follow Gita. I take professional classes also. Even
Mhm.
now, I take it. It's
Wonderful.
once a week class that I take, and I take it from my Guruji. Now, what that basically imbibes is that you got to see things around you.
Mm.
First and the foremost, one of the factors a lot of people do talk about, a lot of money. At a juncture, as early in life that you realize that this is one thing that doesn't go with you up, and no one talks about it once you're gone, is very important. People may talk about me as a good person, I did good to them, they loved me, or they hated me for something which is not money. They cannot hate me for money, they cannot love me for money. And that money doesn't go with me. So, one factor. And, second is start looking at things around. A lot of people say, and many a times I may have also said, I have really worked hard for what I'm achieving. See the person who is breaking the stone, making your house or making your building every day. He sweats much harder than you. Perhaps luck was not in his favor. He is still hitting that stone very hard day in and day out. He has not been able to achieve what you have achieved. So be grateful. If you're not grateful, you would not be able to, you are basically, it's called cacophony. You're living in a world which is very fragile if you're not grateful. Third is, I have it. I do believe uh, that you got to have faith or something called, which is a trust in the supreme, someone who is beyond you. Have that. It just helps you concentrate better. It helps you perhaps take decisions which are beyond the ego side of the things. And having that side, the more you go up, the more the it's हमें स्कूल में एक दोहा होता था, so I still remember the word, and I was poor at Hindi that point of time. Also, there was used to be a book called Makrand के दोहे, एंड उसमें एक कबीर का दोहा था, तो बड़ा हुआ तो क्या हुआ, जैसे पेड़ खजूर. So it was about a tree, that the date tree is not able to give shadow to nobody, even if it is so tall. The tree which gives you the shadow is what people really respect for. And that shadow comes in because it basically goes down. It doesn't, because if it has to give you shadow, it will do like this. It will not go on doing like this. So that has got to be in a professional stature also as well. If you really got to be in that sort of a this thing, have that servant leadership embedded in the head for one to be a true leader. Otherwise, you are a leader, who doesn't has any followers. Sorry to say, the first definition, the colloquial definition of a leader is that he must have some followers.
Right.
So a leader without a follower is a leader in his own eyes, and that's what happens with many of us, who end up falling prey to ego, who end up falling prey to collecting and not giving it back. It's normal, and it'll happen to many of such people unless they basically get into that mode, which perhaps should, I would say that most of the leaders would have this quality. If they don't have this quality, they might as well, you know, learn the trait of leadership.
Oh, it's very interesting. You touched on something which is spiritual quotient in a person. And I can see that it runs very deep within you, all that you articulated. How important do you think it is to have this in you to succeed in life as well as in your career?
See, personally, for me, this is a must have, a must imperative. Now, whether you call it the spiritual quotient, having a belief in the supreme God, or having a trust in somebody whom you can look up to and ask a question and get answers to. This is not a body, but you are able to relate to it. That I ask this question, I'm able to relate to it, and I get an answer. This is something which is inane to me personally. I do not know about many people who may be much beyond me, and must have achieved far beyond me, may not have this. But I believe it's still a fallacy for them to believe that they are leaders. They may be very rich, they may have achieved a lot in life, but truly a leader, in its true sense, has got to be egoless, has got to give it back, has got to have that what you called as the spiritual quotient, has got to be having the belief that it is, I'm here not because I'm better than the person on the other side. I'm here because of multiple reasons. Do not believe that the person on the other side is any less than me. He is better in something else, I am better in something else, and that is what makes the word. If the person who is coming to my house and doing the housekeeping is not good at his job, my house cannot be housekept. So how can that person be below me? He's better than me in his housekeeping job. I am better than me in the realms of the job that I am doing, and hence this word is working. Else this word would not be able to work. I cannot do his job, he cannot do my job, and that's the reason both of us have a coexistence. So the word is all about collaboration and coexistence, and that word has a lot of deeper meaning than what we just see it in the dictionary meaning of it.
Right. So, Pramod, you've worked for 25 odd years with a promoter. So, what are the do's and don'ts that you would recommend that would be a value add to people who are joining a promoter driven company from a professional setup?
So first and foremost, any business that has been set up in the world, it could be in any domain. We can pick up any of your choice. At some point of time, there was somebody, a promoter or a founder, who basically did that. So businesses transgress over a period of time when we call that it has become. So, I have always believed, I do not know, and I have perhaps not read it anywhere, but the life cycle of companies, the way they are, is that you basically have a group of people with an idea or a person with an idea who promotes it. Once that idea is promoted, you form a company. That company stays relevant. How quickly from a company you are able to get many people look into the same vision, it becomes an organization. Once you have formed an organization and people start looking up to you as a success model, you become an institution. So these are the phases which are there.
True.
So, typically when you become an institution, you start calling yourself as uh, a non-promoter sort of a system, but it started with a promoter. So that is one side of it. The second side of it is that if you're working in the early formative years with a promoter, there are few things that one would come across. So that that labeling of coexistence and collaboration works best if you can work in an environment without ego with an owner, because perhaps a person who has promoted, who has invested money, may have some ego. The ones who do not have an ego, which may have been the case in my side of the things work better, that they work superior, and there is a trajectory which has a hockey stick growth. You may not have a hockey stick growth with every promoter that you work with, but with promoters, many of the promoters that I've seen, that if you have an ego, then there are too many brawls or the fights that happen, and you tend to be on the losing side because the money has been invested by the promoter. But if you get an egoless promoter, then nothing like it, which was, I was lucky in that case, and we could potentially achieve a hockey stick growth out there. The other thing that comes in play is that once you're working with a promoter driven organization, please understand that you have got to give the promoter the space, instead of thinking the other way around, that he must give me space. Please give him space to be able to take decisions. If he's able to take decisions and you can make it right, it's about the formative years. So let him take those decisions, and your job is to make them right. If you're able to follow that, you would most of the times find things really working your way, because there would be a day in life wherein you would be taking decisions and you would be making it right. So let the promoter take a decision. Your job is to make it right. You go on making it right every time, each time. And the third is getting into the habit of healthy arguments, but on a one-to-one basis. You cannot have, and I've committed that mistake, no qualms in accepting that you are sitting with a promoter and there's a large meeting. You end up defying what he's saying and vehemently is not the way. Perhaps if you have a difference of opinion, either raise your hand or get back into another place which is just a one to one, and be able to suggest to him that, sorry, I believe that this is not the right thing for us to do. Let's basically talk about it. I believe this is the right way. I did not want to say it in front of the open forum, because you are the promoter, you are the founder, you are at the seat which is called the chairman seat. So I should not be defying my chairman very openly. I would rather do it on a one-to-one basis. And that's how, that camaraderie starts working. There comes a day wherein you and the person who is taking the decisions along with you are able to read each other in eye to eye. I don't have to speak now. Let's say if Ajay and me are sitting, many a times we don't have to utter a word from our this thing. We can read each other. If I'm sitting in an external meeting, it's a negotiation meeting, and the ordinary tricks are this is the bad boy, this is the good boy, and you play that. We don't do that anymore. I can read in his eyes that this is what is going on in his eyes, and this is what he's seeing. He can read into my eyes and see that, oh, this is what he's thinking, and that's how the balance statement would come in. And you're able to make that statement and then carry that forward. Then it becomes a true test of collaboration. That's like a litmus test of collaboration, that can you read each other in eye to eye. And you would find in many large institutions, many large companies, I don't want to name it, uh, the people at the helm and the founder, or the so-called promoter, are able to read each other. And these companies are, I'm talking about, these are uh, billions of dollars enterprises. It could be 100
Yeah.
billion, $200 billion enterprise. And we can talk about the top people out there. They're able to read each other eye to eye. That eye to eye contact is very important. So, when I'm looking at you, I'm looking at you in the eye. And that is one of the factors, that if you're able to see people eye to eye, you're able to take better decisions. If you're looking like this, there is something missing in your leadership.
Very, very useful advice, Pramod. And I think each of the points that you made, are very, very helpful. Number one, give promoter a space. Number two, Pramod mentioned was keep the sensitivities in mind. Number three is read the body language of a promoter, understand, and give the space to the promoter. I think these are invaluable advices, and I think for somebody who is sort of 25 years worked, I'm sure they've stood the test of time, which is what has made you what it is. Pramod, I must confess, you spoke about happiness, but I'm certain about one thing. You are a very happy soul. I still remember the Pramod I met in 1996 from Universal Studios and the Pramod today. I can't say that Pramod has aged endlessly. You're
Thank you.
still the same. So, am I right? You're contented, happy, positive at work?
Yes, very much. So as I said, I just love my work, my workplace. And at times, I get into that space that, hey, my workspace is not looking so good. I need to make these changes. I'll make those changes. It could be changing a color from an X to a Y. Like the new Pantone shade which has come out is, a mocha mousse. It's the new Pantone shade. Now, I read about it and I said, one of my walls have to be mocha mousse, and, the willow green color goes with that. I'll do that every time. But I want to be extremely confident about the fact that I got to love my workspace as much as I love my bedroom or my living room. So that thing. Second is that I must love my work. If I'm not loving my work and I'm taking a stress and see, why does this stress and a strain come in, which people talk about? They talk about burning out. They
Yes.
talk about that, and this is happening a lot in the Gen Zs, when they talk about that I'm burning out. I need a balance. I need
Yeah.
a work-life balance. All this comes out when you're not loving your work. If you love your work, you will be able to balance it perfectly well, because it's not a moment that you are basically losing sight of the work that you're doing, and it is not a moment that you're losing sight of the fact that you need to balance it for your family. It never goes unbalanced till such time the stress and the strain of not loving your work, not loving your workplace comes in. So typically that's what is the my idea of this. You think about startups today. A lot of startups with whom I'm working these days, either on a mentorship or with some bit of equity with them, I realize the better of the lot out there has this inane quality that they love their workspace, they love their work. Since they love their work and their workspace, success would hit them at one point or the other, because they're resilient about what they're doing. It's the love. It's beyond that, that byproduct called money that makes you move. Because money is a byproduct. I must survive, I must sustain. If I am able to survive and sustain over a long period of time, money would follow. Don't bother too much. And you can talk about any startup. We can talk about any company which has become from a startup and had a hockey stick. Talk about any. You could talk about an Oyo, you could talk about a Zomato, you could talk about a Swiggy, you could talk about many of these examples lie. Look at the people, look at those individuals. They love their work.
Yeah.
They love their workplace. When they get into the office, they're beaming with energy. And that inane quality builds resilience. That resilience leads to success. And perhaps, I still believe I've still got to achieve success. Because the day I'm successful, again, it becomes my last.
Correct.
So, this word called success has to be something that has to be having a stature higher than me all of the times, till such time I work, or till such time I live, so to suggest. So for me, success is something that I'm trying to catch, and I hope I'm never able to catch it, because till such time I don't catch it, I will live.
What would be your prescription for people? Number one, aspiring to get to the corner room. And you're looking at the scenario today. What's what you would recommend to them? Two, three things that you think that will help them get to the corner room, and how could they prepare themselves to be successful?
So, let me first say a statement which is more an engineering statement. So, in engineering, or in mathematics, it's you're taught local maxima or a local minima. So, in any business or in any eventuality that could be a personal or professional, there would always be a minima that you will touch, wherein you will say that, you know, this is the worst that could have happened to me. Now, the way to look at it is still a local minima. You could hit, you could go below that. Below that, you can talk about any example. Give me any example which is not dying. Someone dies, that's done, story over. But if you are a living being, and till such time you're living, whatever you may call is my worst, you can hit the worst even more than that. So anything that is happening with you at any point of time is always your local minima. It is not a minima. Similarly, whatever is happening with you on the good side is always a local maxima. There's more good to happen. There is more good to happen. So always look at it, it's a local maxima. There's nothing called absolute minimum. Absolute maximum does not exist in real life. Now, that leads you to the word called resilience. Have the resilience to be able to not get down when the chips are down. Remember, the chips are down, you are not down. Having the chips down doesn't mean that you are down. You will get back, you will fall, you will rise up again, and then go up. So have that factor of resilience. If you're looking forward to a corner room, do not always yearn to be in the corner room. If you're looking for the corner room, do not yearn for the corner room. You will get there. You will get there on its own. If you're saying that I want to be in the corner room and that is my objective in life, I unfortunately believe that it's going to be very short lived. You will just be able to live in that corner room for very small time, even if you hit it, because you will not be the right person. Corner room is going to be your destiny if you don't yearn for it and go on working towards something which is much larger than having the corner room. See, corner room is uh, a concept which is very hypothetical today. So, open offices
Mm,
are the true realms today.
mm.
Someone who is working in my team, perhaps, in the hierarchy is not at the same role, should be able to see what I'm doing. That's the open office concept.
Right.
So, corner room, don't yearn for it to get only into the corner room. Yearn for the fact that you are able to learn multifaceted organization ground up. So, in the early formative years, and especially in the late 90s and early 2000s, uh, I believe 2001, 2002, I actually I was given the tag of a manager much before, but I truly was not a manager. I was perhaps a clerk. So when that tag became relevant to me, that now I have become a manager, was the time when I was told that it's ground up, and our HR teams helped me basically get there. So it was ground up, multifaceted. I worked in finance, I worked in operations, I popped up popcorns, I did the housekeeping, all on my own. I did sweep the floor to understand what's their problem. So perhaps it was early 2001 or maybe late 90s. I don't remember it now. But I did that for 3 years continuously without fail, and loving every moment, means every moment of it, whether I was popping a corn or whether I was sweeping the floor along with the housekeeping team or with another team in the finance team, learning with them and taking certain decisions alongside with them. Those 3 years were the best years, were the best formative years. Now, I did not do that to be able to reach the corner room. I never knew that there was something called, that's the time I realized the difference between, maybe I can say that difference between self-reliance and reliance happened to be bigger. They acquired a cinema company at that point of time, and 90% of the people, top, bottom, left. 90% of the people. Now, as destiny would have it, or, perhaps some good sense prevailed, I had taken certain calls and alongside with the promoter, and that resilience factor again came back, that let me put my head, down, not look at it that, oh, shit has touched the fan, life is finished. And 80 to 90% of the people looked at it like that. They just shifted 1 month. We lost 80% of the workforce on manager 2 level, 100% minus me on the top edge. All gone. 1 month.
Goodness.
Everyone was taken. Everyone gone. Now, blessing in disguise, everyone is gone. There's no competition for me.
Right.
A competition which could have potentially erupted and, sort of a thing, couple of people running in a race, sort of, which happens in corporate world. I had no race to run. It was just keeping my head down and basically saying that now, it is me. I got to take a decision. Right, wrong, I got to move forward. Right, wrong, I got to keep this survival and sustenance on alongside with the promoter, of course, because promoter can't leave.
Right.
He's, he's perhaps more troubled with me because his money is at stake.
Correct.
For me, it was my intellect at stake, perhaps my job at stake, but he had lots more at stake. Working around with him and also getting an opportunity to basically now lead from the front. Because now what happened was, it is like a situation which got created not because I worked my way very hard out there, but because of the fact that someone really took all the people which were there, who was perhaps being seen as the greener pastures.
Right.
And we saw the top crust of the organization moving in 1 month. In 1 month, everyone means everyone gone. Not a soul left. Now you are the decision maker. Now that gives an opportunity which perhaps the others could not get. You had worked 3 years in multifaceted opportunity to be able to learn from a housekeeping to a finance to an accounts. Now you knew that this is how this organization runs. Creating a brand new team, running the organization, and ensuring that you're able to get your space within the competitive domain, and then going up on that competitive domain, having a growth mindset and making sure that you basically not only survive, the word is thrive. So from survival to thrival was the word. And we made that. Each of those people that we had lost, they came back one after the other. One after the other. They all joined back. Not that we said no to anyone. All of them came back. We, still welcomed them with open hand. But now was the situation, if I had taken that call of being on that resilient side, keeping my head down and leading it from the front and ensuring that I could live in those constraints, because the other side had money to roll like crazy. The money went in like as if, money was free. We lived in that constraint to be able to learn to manage things within the given constraints, and then we took it forward, and then we took it up and above and above and above. And these people also came back. You got into a leadership position. So as destiny would have it, that word resilience and that word of learning, which I initially mentioned, learning, resilience, not having an ego, giving a space to the promoter, ensuring that you live in a collaborative and a coexisting world, all came into play together to give me that corner room that I got in my those years. And now, if you look at it, I'm at that state wherein I want to give the corner room to the people who are there. I'm no more a person to take the corner room. There's so many people, so many youngsters who are coming into play who should get into the corner room. I can at best be the mentor or somebody who can catalyze the things for them to move forward, next orbit, next orbit, next orbit. So, that corner room thing, it started from that corner room thing. So that's how I look at the corner room. I believe it's a fictitious word which is very fragile, made of glass, doesn't let you, gets the glass ceiling impact. It sets boundaries for you. And I still love my boundaryless living, flying out with freedom, having my wings, and not having too many constraints to that side of the human side.
Right.
As an individual, I'm an individual. I go out with my team so many times after the office hours. We are the greatest of friends. I love my workplace. I love my work. All these things together, perhaps, are the ingredients for one to get into the corner office, and yet not basically have a this thing that I would basically be, holding this corner office forever. It's like I have to give it away. You can see that in political parties, many of the political parties which believe that I will take that corner room and then that corner room would be taken by my son and then by his son or by his daughter, they don't remain relevant,
Right.
even in a democracy.
Wonderful, Pramod, and very, very useful. Now, tell me, there have been a couple of decisions that come to your mind that really helped PVR to achieve the success it has. I'm sure there must have been business dilemmas, and you spoke of certain problems, but certain things that move the needle from mediocre success to spectacular success that you achieved.
So, in specific to the industry that I represent, two things have to be absolutely clear. One is the customer is king. Now, in one of the case studies in Harvard, they have mentioned that one of the hypermarkets chain has given a caption that we provide everything in these many number of hours. So these guys don't sell tires, and someone basically places an order for a tire, and he says that you said that you can provide everything in these many hours. You never said that everything with you is what you can provide. You said everything you can provide. I want tires. This company went far and beyond and serviced him with the tires. The guy paid the money, they serviced him with the tires. So what they did was a prime example that the customer is always right. And if you have given a commitment, make sure that you meet that commitment. So which is what I believe that is one of the primary focus. If you can go on asking your customer what he is looking at day in and day out, and go on trying to meet his expectations. You can never meet his expectations, but go on trying to meet his expectations. You will realize that your business would basically go on doing better and better and better day in and day out. You will go on achieving small levels of success, and that will speak volumes. So that is number one factor. The second factor is that you also have to understand that there are people who invest into you when you become a listed entity. Now, that interest of the minority shareholder who pays my salary has to be the prime mover. You could be the promoter, must be holding the majority equity. For me, it is very important because you can take a lot of decisions which are right by virtue of sitting within this organization. As a listed entity, there is a minority shareholder who has invested money into the company believing that this management is good. Management is nothing without the people. And if you are sitting in the corner room or if you are at the helm of decisions, you got to ensure every time you're taking a decision, it is in favor of that minority shareholder. Because if it is not in favor of that minority shareholder, you will lose your relevance and credence in the times to come. Because any decision that you're taking, if it's not in favor of your minority shareholders would leave you. If shareholders leave you, your stock would crash. If your stock would crash, you're out.
Right.
So that's the ripple effect, which it has. So any decision that when you are taking, so to say, in a hot seat, wherein you have been empowered to take decisions on behalf of the company, please make sure that you are taking each and every decision in favor of the minority shareholder. I'm, pressing on the fact of minority shareholder, because
Right.
he is the guy who does not has a voice which is direct voice coming to you.
Right.
If you take a decision right for him, perhaps you're taking the right decision for the company.
Wonderful. So, some quick responses to
So,
this question. A one liner will be good. One thing that brings a smile to your face.
my daughter,
One thing that gives you maybe the greatest high at work.
my team, my direct teams who work with me.
One quality that you look for in people that you hire.
They necessarily have to be better than me in the domain that they work. They necessarily.
One quality that you think future leaders will need to have.
Respect each and everyone who works with you, around you, adjacent to you.
Your greatest fear.
When I'll become irrelevant to mankind and this world.
Greatest opportunity for business today.
Geopolitics giving rise to the larger benefit of coexistence and collaboration.
Do you see the entertainment industry getting disrupted in 5 years?
It is getting disrupted every moment.
One thing that will change.
Evolution of all formats. The one classical example is this.
One advice to somebody who wants to set up a multiplex.
Speak to us.
You'll have give them all the answers and all the trade secrets.
I
That's
love competition, but
right.
not so much.
No, you're right. The stiffer the competition, the better you'll get. And the better will be the customer delight.
Absolutely.
One thing that you think PVR will stand for in 2030.
The quotient of happiness will always be measured on the. We have always, I believe so, that we have been measured on the quotient of happiness. We'll basically be able to get more and more happiness for you. We deliver happiness.
You spoke about hunger to learn, which was very interesting and very relevant. People need to sustain it, not easy in today's world. One advice that will keep them hungry to learn?
Hungry to learn is, again, it goes back to ego. Don't be egoless, and this hunger to learn would be your constant companion.
The next goal, Pramod.
Be able to give back as much what God and in and around the society, people like you, my company, and they have all given me. How much of it perhaps I may be able to give back to this world.
Thank you very, very much, Pramod. You've been very sporting. You've taken all the questions. I think much that you have said will actually strike the right chord with people. I can say with a lot of confidence this prescription that you gave to work in a promoter-led organization is really, really useful and so very apt. Wish you all the very best, Pramod. You have miles to go before you sleep, and I'm sure you have much more to achieve.
Thank you so much, Pranesh. I'm truly humbled.